So welcome to Boxing Media Hub, and we're proudly in partnership with Falcon Contracting and Jam's Boxing Chat. And with me now, I've got a very special guest, a guy I think a lot of. I've seen him in the flesh at a distance, and wherever he stands, he's taller than me. It's Big Mo. How you doing, Big Mo?
I'm good, Joel. Appreciate that introduction. I know we've been going back and forth on trying to find time to do this. Unfortunately, when I live on a different side of the world than you, and sometimes I'm over there, sometimes I'm not, it kind of makes scheduling tough. So I appreciate you being patient with me. Thank you.
Honestly, it's an absolute pleasure having you on. And as I say, I know you're a busy man. You're always somewhere. And it's just been an absolute journey for you, isn't it? And what a ride so far.
It's I've lived a very blessed life the last few years. I'm very thankful to do what I do. It's been an amazing journey, and I think it's just getting started. So I want to keep up doing what I'm doing. I want to continue to develop my career and see where I can take this thing.
Yeah. So where did it all start for you then? How, was this the job you knew you wanted, or where how did you get into this?
So, I mean, it's kind of I think it's kind of an interesting story. So I was an American football player in college, played for 5 years, got my undergrad degree, got my master's degree. And for a long time, and still do, I wanted to work in entertainment, specifically, maybe hosting TV or going into acting or really kind of anything like that. So when I got done, or towards the tail end of my college career, I started hosting events like banquets, award shows. I was always a pretty good public speaker. I was raised by an attorney. I got taught how to public speak. I've always been comfortable in front of people. So I started hosting these events, and my friend said, "Hey, you're pretty good at this. Would you ever want to try commentary?" Which is a common transition when you get done participating in the sport, is you become a commentator or an analyst or a pundit. We see it in boxing all the time. And at the time, I was pretty burnt out of American football and basketball. I played those sports my whole life. I was just kind of tired of it. And every person that wants to be a commentator, wants to go out and do those types of things and wants to go work on those sports. But I always liked combat sports. At the time, I was a big fan of the UFC. I was a decent fan of boxing. I was still learning boxing. It was still kind of early in my boxing journey, but I loved combat sports in general. So I went and I became a color commentator for a small regional show in Colorado. Did that for a little bit. I love doing commentary when I get the opportunity to do it. But I remember seeing the ring announcer, the MC, and I go, you know what, I think I can do that job. I think that job makes sense to me.
That's me.
Yes, exactly. So I convinced the promoter to let me do it. He let me do it. I took it over, and it kind of just went from there. I started gaining notoriety slowly. I was very active on social media and promoting myself. I used to wear sunglasses in the ring, and that was kind of like a visual shtick that I did to kind of be different. Obviously, I don't do that anymore. Thankfully, that was kind of hokey back then. But I started gaining notoriety because I was just younger than everyone else. It's no secret that a lot of the MCs that we're used to that have been doing it for a long time, they're a slightly older demographic, all great people. It's nothing towards them. It's just a fact. And I was using social media. I was using TikTok and Instagram, and I was getting my name out there, and people started I kind of gained the moniker of the youngest ring announcer in the world type of thing. So I just rolled with that, and that carried me pretty far. And then one thing led to another, got more jobs, got more work, ended up joining BYB Extreme Bare Knuckle, which I still work with today. Yeah. And I get to work with the likes of Mike Goldberg and Paulie Malignaggi and Claudia Trejos and Benny Ricardo. And that was like my introduction to working with like really, really high level commentators and media personalities. Mike Goldberg was the voice of the UFC for 25 years with Joe Rogan. Paulie Malignaggi, in my opinion, is one of the best boxing analyst pundits in the world. So that brought me up a level in terms of actually learning, really, really how to be a part of a good broadcast. And then I guess my break, I guess, for lack of a better word, is I did the Hafthor Bjornsson versus Eddie Hall fight in Dubai.
The
giant fight or whatever. And it was actually during that fight that Sky Sports and Boxer, I guess, discovered me, and they wanted to give me a run at being their ring announcer. We did a test run show, which was Chris Billum-Smith's first show in Bournemouth, where he beat Isaac Chamberlain in that fight of the year. That was actually my first fight with them. That was our test run. And then the rest is history. I did a couple fights. I did Liam Smith's return, his first fight back in Liverpool on Sky. And then I did Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall for the undisputed world title. And I was 26. And then we're off.
That's it. That is absolute. That's just crazy, to be honest. You know, when you think you've literally, and BYB is still not sort of massively known in the UK, is it? It's a big American brand, and you know, it's I think it's great because don't they have a different style ring and stuff like that?
Yeah. So it's interesting you said that because they just acquired BKB in the UK. So now BYB owns BKB and is going to rebrand to BYB. So they're going to start doing more in the UK. I'm going to start being in the UK even more often than I am already, which is fun. But no, it's just bare knuckle is just not as popular. It's still gaining popularity. It's still a very new sport. Right now, in my opinion, bare knuckle is where the UFC and MMA was 20 years ago. You know, it's just developing. It's trying to build a fan base. It's pretty violent. So it's just different. But it's fun, and I like bare knuckle. I like the shows. I think it's creative. I think it's innovative. I love working with who I work with. But like you said, it's not what Sky Boxing is. It's not what NBC is with Boxer yet. We'll see if we can get there. So no, I'm thankful to work in boxing. I love boxing. I love working with Sky, and the British fans are unbelievable.
Yeah, as you say, with taking BKB, that's where it's going to have the eyes on it over here. I've been to quite a few BKB shows, like at the Indigo, at the O2. Cracking nights, to be honest. Absolute, it brings you back to that gladiatorial style, doesn't it, of fighting, where it's going back to basics. And I just love the fact that it's still got boxing to the core, in the sense that you've still got these two guys that want to, or ladies that want to knock pounds out of each other. But yet, at the end, it's all well and good. There's good wishes, Sweeney, for example, cracking fighter, I love Jimmy to bits. Those sort of guys have really put it on a stage, haven't they? And as you say, in America, I think you've got Dada over in America, haven't you, that's doing it. So, yeah, it's
growing.
It's there, isn't it? It's just waiting for that next sort of lift. But
the next step is, it's the same as every new sport. It's going to take new sponsors getting involved and wanting to be a part of it. It's going to take a broadcaster that wants to be a part of it. Right now we're on Fuse TV, which is a pretty good sized platform here in the States, and we have distribution all over. So, just growing where we got to grow and trust our leadership where we can trust it. But I'm excited for bare knuckle, but definitely in the UK, obviously the focus is boxing. So.
Yeah. So obviously, Jam has jumped in. We've got people that can send you questions as well. Could you be the next Buffer? I think so for sure, says Jam. That's a statement, isn't it? But if that's the way that people view you, I think it takes a real amazing character to be a ring announcer. We see Michael, we see Bruce, the fact, brothers have come at such a level as they are, they're iconic. But to see yourself, you bring a different presence, you've got that tone of voice that really sets the crowd going, you get people's attention, and you're just so bloody good at what you do. I'm not going to lie. You've honed in your craft. You're still a young guy, but you've nailed it so early on. And I just think it's because you love it. I think that's where it comes from mainly, is the passion you've got and the drive you've got to be the best you can be. And there's only one direction when you're doing that, isn't there? And it's up.
Yeah, I think. Number one, the question. Obviously, I love the Buffers. They've been inspirations to me. I've had a little bit of interaction with them. They're very nice gentlemen, both of them. I've had a little bit more interaction with Bruce than I have Michael, but both great people. I think the biggest thing I've gotten compared to the Buffers my whole career. People thought I was their son. I don't know. Maybe it's the hair and the white dude. We're all white guys with slick back hair. I have no idea. But the biggest thing is I don't want to be the next Buffer, and I mean that respectfully. And if you asked Bruce and Michael, and they've talked about this before, and they said that if there's another ring announcer that comes, they have to be themselves. And I don't want to be the next Buffer. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be as successful as them, but I want to be me.
I think that's where it's at, isn't it? Yeah.
I want to be me. I want to be the first Big Mo. I want to do what I do. And you're right. It's because I love it. And obviously I love the sport, and I love boxing, and I love MMA, and I love kickboxing, and I love all combat sports, bare knuckle, the whole works. But what I love more really is entertainment. I love entertaining people. I love creating that atmosphere. I love being a part of the show. I think when you look at combat sports really specifically, the show is almost sometimes more enjoyable than the fight itself. And very few sports are like that. A lot of people, their favorite memory of the fight is the ring walk. That's not common in sports, but that's why it's sports entertainment. That's why it's a promotion. That's why every show is very different and is marketed differently and promoted differently. And so I like being a part of that aspect. I think that entertainment plays a really, really important role in society. I've talked about this a lot before, but how I look at it is in life, people have their own stuff that's going on. They have their own stressors, and they have their own, their job or their spouse or their whatever's going on in their life. I think entertainment plays an important role because it can almost serve as an escape for people. And I think with sports and entertainment, the same holds true. Someone can turn on boxing, and for maybe a few hours, they can detach from their life, or they can buy a ticket and they can go enjoy something. Maybe they got fired from their job that day, or maybe something happened that's not great in their life, and they can sit down and they can enjoy something. And I get to meet these families, and I get to meet parents that took their kids, and I get to meet hardcore fans and fans like yourself that really just enjoy the atmosphere and the show and enjoying it all. And so the fact that I can be a part of that is an honor.
Yeah. And as you say, it's almost like going to the movies, isn't it? It's switching off and being somewhere different for that length of time where you can just forget everything else and just focus on what's in front of you. And boxing delivers in that way, because you never know what you're going to get. At least with a movie, you've got a bit of a content breaker of what could potentially happen. In boxing, anything goes, as you well know, Mo. It is what it is. Håkan has jumped in. Who's a big fan of yours from Sweden. First time I saw you live in Liverpool in 2022, and wow, you were my favourite MC from that night. There's a lot of love out there for Big Mo.
That's one of my good guys from Sweden, man. He's a great supporter of mine, so I'm appreciative to that guy. And it's comments like that make me appreciate what I do. And look, the job that I do is crazy. It's a weird job when you really break it down. Like,
it's not a job, is it?
When you think about what I do, it's like, hold on, what do you do exactly? You wear a tux and you yell into a microphone and what? And no one really gets it until they see it. And they're like, okay, I understand that more now. I understand why that's an important element of the show. So and people love it. And again, I'm not the focus, but I like playing my role in the overall show.
But you're a big focus in the build-up, aren't you? Yep. This is the thing. You can set the bar for the crowd for that fight, because some people might even think, looking at a particular fight on paper, they go, oh, that could be a bit of a stalemate. That could be a bit of, and then Big Mo comes out. He does what he does. He announces both people coming to the ring. He's hyped the crowd, and the next minute, the boxers are more hyped up. We get a totally different fight because of the atmosphere you've created, and it goes from there. It's a special thing. As you say, you are part of the event. It's a big part. Every time I hear Big Mo, says Jam, it makes the hairs on my back of my neck stand up, just like Jimmy Lennon Jr. and, of course, the boss Buffer Man. There's a lot of compliments here. Thanks for meeting me, says Hawkan at ringside in Birmingham last year. Have you fought in the ring yourself, Kody? Said Jam.
No, and I don't necessarily plan on it, truthfully.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the thing is my athletic career is over. I had enough contact sports for my life. I blew out my shoulder in college, and it's held together kind of for the rest of my life. So I'm maybe something comes up, but for the most part, I just like staying in shape. I like ring announcing. I like being a part of the entertainment side, and I'm not one for the celebrity fights. That's not really my speed. So unless I woke up and wanted to become a professional fighter, which I don't really plan on, I'm not sure if I'll step in.
Never say no.
Never say never. You never know. So.
Yeah, that wasn't me calling you out, and that wasn't me also saying, because to be fair, I think there's a bit of a range issue. If it was me and you, as I'm only like 5'7", so to be fair, it's not going to work for me. But yeah, there's some great stuff coming in. Shields versus Marshall is my favourite night of boxing with you announcing. What a night it was. I mean,
that was probably, when you really look at it, that was probably the most important night of my career, all things considered, because I've been a part of big fights that like got viewed a lot globally, or, got a lot of views on YouTube and things like that. But
yeah,
that fight, I was 26, undisputed world title, sold out at the O2. It was on Sky. It was on ESPN. It broke viewership records. It was historic for what it did for women. So when you factor all that in together, that absolutely was the most important, because when I finished that show, and I wasn't even nervous for that show. I don't really get nervous anymore. But when I finished that show, it was like, all right, well, what show can I do? I've done sold out at the O2. I've done it on ESPN and Sky. Those are the biggest networks in the world. Like, what?
Have I peaked?
No, not that. It wasn't even peaking. It was more like it solidified what I already knew about myself, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah. Whereas, as you say, with a fight of that magnitude, as you say, it's an honor, isn't it? It's an honor as well. But when you look back over history, I'll chuck one at you now. Is there a particular fight that you look back and you think, I wish I'd called that?
What was the fight that drew like 100,000 people? Was that Dempsey versus? Drawing a blank. The big one that happened. I shared it on my social media. It was like the most attended fight ever, or something like that. It was Jack Dempsey versus someone. I'm drawing a blank, but that one would have been great. McGregor Mayweather would have been awesome. Pacquiao, Joshua Klitschko, things like that. I want to do the biggest fights possible. I say that every time I get interviewed. Like, I want the biggest crowd I can have. I want to be in front of the biggest crowd that I can be in front of, because that helps me do my job, because that's just the kind of style of announcer that I am. I go big. It is what it is.
I honestly, Mo, I think it's a matter of time. I just think, like people say, I know you're so young, but it's just your attitude towards what you do, and you thrive off the pressure. I think the fact that the bigger thing that comes along, you almost think to yourself, I deserve this. I've got myself in this position, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. And I think it's when those fights come, it's just going to be amazing, isn't it? Because I'm going to think, I know what it. Now I'm now going to view you in a different way, and I've got massive respect for you anyway. But
thank you.
When I see you in that ring now, I now know what it means to that guy in the middle of the ring that stands there with a microphone and gives every bit. And I don't think we get it until you hit that sort of personal level with someone like this, where we kind of had that one-to-one. And, we just think you kind of go into autopilot, and then the ring announcer does his thing. But it's the drive you've got. It's just incredible.
I think what a lot of people don't understand is how quickly this has kind of happened. 3-4 years ago, I was announcing in front of like 100 people in a barn. And when you go back and you watch those clips, don't get me wrong, I've gotten a lot better. I've changed the tone of my voice, but the energy and the passion was the exact same. And I got told by promoters to tone it down. Hey, I don't know where you think you are. Like, you know, it's not like that. You know, you can relax. And it's like, well, respectfully, I'm not here mentally. You know, I'm picturing and I'm visualizing that I'm at Madison Square Garden, or I'm at Wembley Stadium, or I'm at the O2. And that's where I was in my head. And so I think to look back now at how quickly this has happened, I'm obviously very thankful, but I like the competitive aspect of it. I want to see where I can grow this to, because I look at it as go, all right, well, some of these other MCs have been in the industry for 20, 30 years, and I'm doing these shows. You know, there were 2 domestic pay-per-views last year, and that was Liam Smith and Chris Eubank 1 and 2, and I did both of them. So the thing is like, I have that level of confidence in myself, but I also put in a lot of work. You know, I do the entire fight week. A lot of MCs don't do that. I do the open workouts. I do the weigh-ins. I do the press conferences. I like being there the whole week. It helps me build a camaraderie with the fighters. It helps me talk to production. I show up for the shows 3-4 hours early, and I do rehearsals. I rehearse everything. I rehearse the ring walks and all that type of stuff. There's a reason why the Sky broadcast, in my opinion, is the best broadcast in the world. And I've watched all the broadcasts. I've watched them on all the other networks. In my opinion, Sky has the best, the cleanest production, the cleanest camera angles, the cleanest ring walks. Everything is clean. And how I look at it is I'm a part of that. So I like playing my role. So I show up to the arena hours in advance, and I rehearse things and go over ring walks and all that type of stuff, because I care about putting on a good show. So yeah, to your point, I work hard at what I do, and I care about what I do, and that's why I want to continue to grow it.
Yeah. No, honestly, I tap my hat off to you, mate. You know, I just think what you do and how you do it, and the way you present yourself, like the fact that a guy told you 4 years ago, you know, just bring it down a bit. You probably think to yourself, actually, that spurred me on. That made me want to be me even more, because that you are the selling point. You've got to where you are because of who you are. Yeah. And you know, those people that turn around and go, just keep it down a bit, they make me want to shout a bit louder. I don't know about you, but it makes you just want to say, actually, I'm going to put myself out there. You've put it all on the line, and you're now reaping the benefit and the fruits of your hard work. So hats off to you, Mo. I think you're a cracking bloke. Before we let you go, because I don't want to keep you too much longer.
You're good.
Who's the dream fight you want to call in boxing or MMA?
Oh man, there's
some crackers out there, isn't there? Let's be honest.
I mean, Fury Usyk too would be amazing. Although I think Michael Buffer's got that one.
We'll let him have that one.
No. I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, that announcer got that job. There's plenty to go around, and I have my own jobs and I have my own work, so I'm not tripping about that. But I mean, Fury Usyk, Fury Joshua, you know, if Tank Shakur ever happens, if
cracking fight.
Canelo ever happens, and MMA, I'd love to introduce McGregor if he ever fights again. You know, it's not like, oh, I really want to announce this person, I really want to announce that person. It's just that when I look at it and I see a big fight, and I see a fight that captivates the public and the social and everything like that, that's what I want to be a part of. Yeah,
that's my fight. Yeah, 100%. Quality. Wow. Honestly, they just keep going. SWS Boxing, big up, Mo. You're a legend.
Appreciate everybody.
Saw Big Mo, saw you live at the Azim versus Ryland Charlton fight.
That was early. That was early in my tenure with Sky and Boxer. That was the first Sunday show that we did. That was like the Super Sunday boxing we did in the middle of the day. That was fun.
And I've just had this one through, which is a bit concerning. It's he'd smash you at me and you to bits, Joel, bro.
No.
To be fair, he'd just put his arm out, and I'd just sort of just be running on the end of it.
All boxing fans are good with me. I'm not fighting no boxing fans.
It's the best way to be honest, mate. Exactly. But honestly, as you say, you got a busy card, a busy year ahead, should we say? There's all sorts coming up. Where are you off to next, Mo? Obviously, you are a man that's got plenty of air miles. I think it's fair to say.
That is for sure. I am in New Orleans this weekend for BYB 28,
Cool.
heavyweight championship for bare knuckle. Then I have a couple weeks off, and then I go to Barnsley for Callum Simpson on Sky. The week after that, I'm back to Florida for BYB bare knuckle. Then I go to Wales for BYB's first full show in the UK. Barry Jones, who's the #1 probably pound-for-pound bare knuckle fighter in the world from Wales, is going to be fighting in his home. He's going to be great. He's fighting LT, who's one of the best bare knuckle fighters from America. And then I think I have a break, and then I may have another one in August, but I'm not sure yet if I can say anything. But we'll see.
Yeah, there's potentially. Well, we know there's more. We know there's more. It's just what we can say. But honestly, you deserve the work you get, Mo. That's all I'm going to say. The comments are just flowing in, to be honest, mate. You are loved in the world of boxing, and everything you do, just keep up your good work.
I am very thankful to all the boxing fans, especially the UK fans that have embraced me. I recognize that I come into an industry that's been long-standing for a long time, and there's always new people that come into it, but in my role, it's kind of been a lot of the same people, and they're legends at what they do, and I respect all of them. And I understand that when I came in, I was different, and it's been an honor for me to become a part of the community, to meet people like yourself, Joel, and people from the boxing journalism route and the boxing fan route, and broadcasters and fighters and promoters and coaches and managers and all the different stakeholders of the industry. And I'm very appreciative to everyone, but especially the fans, the people that are watching this, that wrote in, that put comments on. They're the people that make this industry go, because they're the consumer of the product. And so without fans, we'd be nowhere, just in the same way that without boxers, we'd be nowhere. So everyone plays their role, and I'm honored to play mine, but I really appreciate everyone for embracing me and becoming my friend. So thank you.
Honestly, Big Mo, thank you very much. And I just want to say a massive thank you to you.
Thank you for staying on top of me and pestering me in a good way. I'm actually thankful that you do it, because I lose track. I'm going to be honest. It's kind of a lot. So I appreciate you being patient with me and having me on. Thank you.
Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure, because, when I said to people that I've got Big Mo coming on, they just went, just how have you done that? He is a busy guy. He's such a great guy. And do you know what? Everyone I've spoken to, whether it's on media at ringside or I'm chatting to my mates online, they all turn around and they say, what a nice guy. And I think that is the biggest compliment over anything, just being a decent human being. It just goes a long way. And I think that's where the work comes from as well. You're amazing at what you do, but I think being a great human being goes even further, because people relate. And you're a top guy. So thank you very much for your time. Stay in touch as well, Mo.
Yes.
And as I say, I'll see you at a show in the future.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Joel. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.
Yeah, take care. God bless.
Take care.